What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen, and welcome back to the open source RV van project here. And in this video, guys, I want to share with you guys the decisions that my wife and I made to choose the correct chassis for this open source project. And keep in mind, guys, that we are doing this on the Dodge Ram Promaster, but you guys can use the same strategies and applications and apply it towards the Mercedes Sprinter or the Ford Transit if that's what you prefer. Okay, so throughout this whole entire series, we're going to try to keep things so that it can be applied to any of those vehicles. We just personally chose the Dodge Ram Promaster, and I want to share with you guys why we did that. Okay, first of all, you guys already know from the previous video that my wife and I decided to go with a Class B RV van instead of going with like the Class C or the Class A. And in case you are new to the RV world, guys, the Class A is the biggest van that's RV that's available. That's like the bus, like the Greyhound bus size ones. Okay, the Class B is the actual van that everybody is familiar with, the real van. Okay. The Class C is actually the size that's in between these two. I don't know why they went A and then C and then B. I wish they would have done it in order so it's easier for everyone to understand. Okay, but anyway, the Class C is basically the same chassis as the van, right? The only difference is you'll know it's a Class C because there's like a little extra space or partition or room that goes over the top of the cab. Okay, so that's how you distinguish a Class C, which has that portion over the cab, and then the Class B is the smallest one. It's the regular van. It has nothing over the cab, and then the Class A is the one that's the bus size, the Greyhound bus. Okay, so anyway, my wife and I chose to go with the van size because we can park it in front of our property without any homeowners association problems or restrictions, and we can park in any regular public parking lot. Okay, and also it's easy for operations and maneuverability wise, and it's easier on the operations and the maintenance costs of it. Okay, now in this video I want to share with you guys a little bit more about why we specifically chose the Dodge ProMaster and why we chose the gasoline version over the diesel version. Okay, so first of all, we chose the Dodge Ram ProMaster. One of the things that I really like about it is that it has a lower floor. So I have two kids, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I want to make sure that I have the lowest floorboard as possible so that my kids can get in and out of the vehicle safely. And also, I looked at the Mercedes Sprinter and the Ford Transit, and one of the things that I do not like is I don't like that high floorboard because I don't like to have to take such a big step to climb into the vehicle. And I know that they have stepping boards and a few other things that you can put and install so that it slides out. And so in customizing and building this open source RV in this first version, I want to make sure that I do it with the least amount of parts as possible and the least amount of labor to get it out the door so we can start using it and traveling it, and then put it out there, the information out there, so that the rest of the internet community can look at it and then improve upon it, and then maybe later on down the line I can build a version 2.0 or something. But in the beginning, my goal is just to get the beta version out first so that everyone can contribute to it and make it better for this open source project. Okay, so the thing that we went with so there were several reasons that we went with the Dodge ProMaster. Out of all the vehicles that we looked at, as far as the height inside the vehicle goes, they're all relatively the same. And we're talking about the high top vans. We're not comparing the high tops to the low tops. We are comparing only the high tops to the high tops. Okay. In all the vans, you can stand inside of it. I'm almost 6 foot tall, half an inch from being 6 foot tall. And in all these vans that I noticed, you can go in there and you can put pretty much about this much length above your head, and there's still some empty space. In other words, I can go in there and easily wear a cowboy hat, a football helmet, or any kind of, even an astronaut helmet, and I can still walk through there without bumping my head against the ceiling. So that was cool, okay? So the height's not a problem. What I liked about the Dodge ProMaster was that it had a floorboard that was about 6 inches lower than the Ford Transit or the Mercedes Sprinter. And the reason why they are able to have a lower floorboard was because the Dodge ProMaster is the only vehicle that has a front wheel drive, so that there's no rear axle or transmission extending out towards the back end. So because there's no axle, they can make the van a little bit lower, okay? Now on the Ford Transit and the Mercedes Sprinter, they go out pretty far. It has a rear wheel drive, so the transmission takes up space in the back and the axle takes up space in the back. So because of that, they have to make it a little bit higher, the floorboard of the van a little bit higher, just so that the transmission and the axles can all go to the back wheel, okay? So I did not want that, all right? I would prefer the lower floorboard and nothing. And also, because there's no axle going towards the back, there's more empty space under there for me to put like the black water tanks and the gray water tanks. And in case you guys are new to this, the black water tank is where you take a dump, and when you go take a poop, that's where the poop goes. And then the gray water tanks is where you do dishes and laundry, anything like that. That's the water that goes in there, okay? So I like the idea that there was no axle underneath the Dodge ProMaster. That way it gives me extra room in case. That doesn't mean that I'm going to put the black tanks and the gray tanks underneath the van, but just in case I wanted to, there would be plenty of room down there for it, okay? So that was the reason, one of the reasons we went with the Dodge ProMaster. As far as the cost goes, the cost was not that significantly different, okay? So I chose the ProMaster not because of cost, more because of functionality and the function of the vehicle and how it was designed and everything over the cost, okay? The other thing that I liked about the Dodge ProMaster was that the front bumper is made up of 3 parts. And I like the idea that if one of them gets bumped from either side, you just replace that portion of the bumper so you don't have to spend money replacing the entire bumper. So when they had those things in mind, I really like that the engineers at Dodge or Ducati, where they were originally designed and manufactured, right? They put all these thoughts into it so that the maintenance and operations costs of the vehicle is very low. The other thing that I really like too is that the batteries and everything that the oil filters and things like that you need to change during maintenance operations, it can all be done from inside the cab. And there's on the floorboards, there's places where you can remove the cover and get access into the engine component, the engine room, and replace or do any kind of maintenance that you want. And I really like the idea of that because that way you don't have to go under the vehicle to get to these places. So just overall, just the way that the Dodge ProMaster, the functionality of it, really made me go forward with it, okay? Now, here's some things that I wanted to share with you guys about the Dodge ProMaster. They have different lengths available. They have a 136-inch wheelbase. They have the 170 and the 159-inch wheelbase. And then within each of those wheelbases, they have different lengths and different height. They have the series that are just the shorter height, the regular height, and then they have what's called the high top, okay? I'm not going to talk about the low top ones. I'm only going to talk about the high roof or the high top ones. The 136-inch wheelbase was a little bit too short for what I wanted to do with it because it was just barely longer than my current Toyota minivan, so I did not want to go with that. What I did was I went with the 159-inch wheelbase, and within the 159-inch wheelbase, they have a 2,500-pound capacity van, and they also have the 3,500-pound capacity van. I decided to go with the 2,500-pound capacity van because we are an Asian family, and Asian people are not that big. So I'm just kidding. I went with that because I did not see the need for a high capacity 3,500 pounds because I don't see myself loading it all the way to its full capacity, okay? I weigh 190 pounds. My wife weighs 100 pounds. That's about 300 pounds there, plus the kids. That's about 400 pounds. And then if you add up all the stuff that we are going to put inside the van, I don't see it adding up to 2,500 pounds, okay? So that's why we went with that. The other thing, too, is that in the 159-inch wheelbase for the Dodge ProMaster, they have the regular length van, and then they have the extended length, okay, which is an extra 1.5 feet or an extra 18 inches at the end of the van. Now, I went into both vans, and I did not see the need for that extra 18 inches. And keep in mind, guys, the extra 18 inches is not that much. It's only like $700 or $800 extra. So if it's not a big issue for you guys, and if you're going to live in this van permanently, or if you plan on living in this van, I would suggest that you guys get the extended length and get that extra 18 inches because it's worth it, okay? I don't see myself and my family staying in the van for longer than probably a week at a time or maybe 2 weeks at a time. Usually it's probably just going to be like on weekend trips. So that's why I did not need that extra. The other reason that I did not need that extra space was because of my parking space of where I live in North Dallas. If I get that extra space, I'm afraid that it will stick out into the sidewalk, and when other residents walk by in front of my house, they will hit the van, or it's just for parking reasons. It doesn't fit into a regular parking space, whether it's at my house, at a Walmart shopping center, at the mall, or whatever. It won't fit into a regular space because of that extra 1.5 feet, because the regular size ones already are just maxing out the parking space already. So for those two reasons, the issue with the parking and the no need for the extended space, I decided not to go with the extended, and I only went with the 159-inch, okay? So what else? That is pretty much it, guys. Oh, and the other thing too is that if you sit in the front of the Dodge ProMaster, the way that they have their windshield in front of them, it makes it a lot, how do you call it? The visibility is a lot easier, okay? And the other thing that we wanted, that my wife wanted, was that because the van was bigger than our current Toyota van, she wanted to have visibility around her. And that was another reason why we went with the Dodge window van. We wanted windows all the way around the van and not just the ones at the front, the driver's side door and the passenger side door only, okay? So when we go to get this van, we are going to get one that is that has windows all the way around. And if you get that, usually it has to be on special order. So we're in the process of doing that at the moment to research which dealership to get it from. We ran across several deals we ran across a deal in Michigan, but I was not able to get up there and get the van on time. It was like for $28,500 for the 2014 window van. And then we found some 2014 window vans, two of them here in the Dallas at a dealership called Clay Cooley Dodge in Irving, Texas. It's like in South Dallas, right? No, it's in West Dallas, okay? And they listed on Commercial Truck Trader for $23,500 for the 2014 window van, okay? And then when I called in, they said to come down, and then by the time I got back to Dallas to come into town, they jacked up the price at like $28,000 to $25,500, and then they jacked up to $28,500, and then brought it back down to $25,000, something like that. And the price kept fluctuating, and I called into the dealership, and they are, in my opinion, one of the most lousiest and crookedest dealerships on the planet. If you happen to be in Dallas, I would not ever recommend that you guys go to Clay Cooley Dodge, okay? Because they were so scammy, okay? They pulled a bait and switch on me. They called me, they told me, yes, they had the vehicles, they had it at that price, and when I got to the dealership, okay, this is what they did. They had me come in there, and then I looked at the vehicle, and it was a new vehicle and everything, and while they had, we were trying to figure out what the price of it was, and they had me wait. And while I was waiting, they went online to commercialtrucktrader.com and changed the price of the vehicle from what I saw in the ad. And then they printed out the new price and came out and told me that the price I had on there was wrong because it was, this higher price on Commercial Truck Trader. And I told them, I said, wait a minute. And I had the screenshots on my phone from when I looked at it of how much it actually cost. So it was just really, really slimy, really sleazy how they did their operations there. So if you guys ever buy a Dodge van or any type of vehicle, I would not recommend Clay Cooley Dodge, okay? I mean, I couldn't believe that they were sitting there right in front of me. They must have thought I was stupid or something. They were sitting right there in front of me, changing the price on the website right in front of me. I mean, come on. Let's, just sell it for what you guys listed for, okay? Anyways, beyond that, so that kind of delayed me, or else I would have gotten the vehicle by now. So we're looking around at a couple other places, and hopefully we don't run into a bunch of slimy, car sales people like that again, okay? But as soon as we get that, I'll update you guys and I'll share with you guys some more. So, thanks for watching this video, guys, and I hope this was helpful to you to make a decision on what chassis or what body type and why we chose it. Oh, I forgot to mention also, we went with the gasoline version instead of the diesel because the diesel added an extra $5,000 onto the vehicle, and I really did not care for that. First of all, I don't care. I used to work on commercial fishing boats. I really don't care for the smell of diesel. I hate the smell of gasoline and I hate the smell of diesel. And between the two, I hate the diesel more. And the other thing too is that when I'm traveling, I don't like, I used to have a diesel truck when I was younger working at the shipyards in Houston. And I hate the fact that I have to drive around looking for a diesel fuel station. Okay. So I hate that. That's why I went with the gas. Plus, they say that the the diesel has a lower maintenance and operations cost over the long term. But when I sat down on a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and I did the math of how much it would cost me per mile to drive it, the amount of driving I do is not that much. A typical driver in America will drive their vehicles about 15,000 miles a year. And even on the low end, it's like 12,000. And throughout my entire life, I have never driven a vehicle that I own for more than maybe 6,000 miles in 1 year. So because of that, I really did not care how much the maintenance cost was, okay? Now, the other thing that I want to share with you guys is the new versus the used Dodge Promaster, okay? I looked at Commercial Truck Trader and a bunch of other used vehicles online. First of all, in America, the Dodge Promaster was originally manufactured by a company called Ducati in Europe. So when they brought it to America, I think late 2013, early 2014 was the earliest models they had in America. So because it just came out in America, there is not a lot of Dodge Promaster used vehicles available. So even if I wanted to use one, it really was not available. And I noticed that even the used ones that had 20, 30, 40,000 miles on it, they were selling it for maybe only $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper than a brand new one. So I plan on keeping this vehicle. I don't plan on selling it. I plan on building it so that my family can use it for many years. And based on the ProMaster forums, there are many people that have said that these vehicles last 100, 200, over 200,000 miles easily. And for me, if I can get, 50, 100,000, 200,000 miles out of this vehicle, brand new, then it's well worth the money. So the other thing too is that I want to use the vehicle and enjoy it as a recreational vehicle with my family as we travel. And because I have a wife and 2 kids with me, one of the things that I don't want to happen is the vehicle to break down. So because of that, I just went ahead and also because it was just there was hardly any used window vans available. So that's why I was forced to buy a new one. Maybe if there was any used ProMaster window vans available, I would go for it. But I don't see any available online. So because of that, I'm forced to buy a new one. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Oh, by the way, if you guys shop around and you see any leftover 2014 models or 2015 models, That is common, guys, because they just brought the Dodge ProMaster van over, and for a while there, for like 6-8 months ago, when I just started doing research on these, at the beginning of 2015, I was wondering why they were selling the 2014 models at such a lower cost, and it was brand new. I thought it was like some kind of gimmick, you know, but I found out that a lot of these dealerships that were selling it at a reasonably lower cost than the 2015 models, it was because when they brought it over in 2014, a lot of the dealerships thought that it was going to be very popular, but what happened was not too many people even knew that the Dodge had the ProMaster available, so because of that, they did not buy it, so they had a lot of leftover inventory. It's not because it was a poor or a bad quality vehicle, it's just because people did not know about it the first year it came out. So because of that, there's still a lot of lingering leftover inventory from 2014 and 2015. And I'm still debating right now whether to get the 2015 or 2016 models, because based on my research and based on the dealerships I've talked to, the 2014, 2015, and 2016 models are exactly the same models in America. I don't know about it in Europe, but in America, they're all the same models. And so because of that, I'm still trying to decide on the cost savings and if it's worth getting the 2015 or 2016, right? So thanks for watching this video, guys, and hopefully that information was able to help you guys make the right decision on getting the Dodge ProMaster or not. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys in a future video. If you have someone that's building out their RVs or their bug out vehicles, or they're planning on living a nomadic van lifestyle, please share this video with them, and give me a thumbs up if you guys like it, give me a thumbs down if you guys don't like it, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in a future video.